There is a drawer in almost every bass player's home. You know the one. It holds the pickups that were going to change everything. The $80 set that replaced the stock ones, the $140 set that replaced those, and the printout of a form thread promising that the third set, the hand-wound one with the waiting list, would finally deliver the sound in your head. The pickup upgrade market runs on that drawer. It is one of the most profitable corners of the entire bass industry, precisely because a pickup is small, mysterious, and sold almost entirely on stories. Today we are opening the drawer. 5 ways the pickup market takes your money without giving you sound in return, and 5 specific pickups with names and street prices that deliver more than sets costing 3 times as much. And in the middle of this video, we will do something slightly evil. I will give you the 30-second test that tells you whether you need new pickups at all. Most of you will fail it, and that failure will save you $200. Here is the plan. First, 60 seconds on what a pickup actually is, because once you understand how simple this device is, the 5 traps become almost funny. Then the traps themselves, from the aged relic tax to the no demo gamble, each one with the honest question that diffuses it. Then the test. Then the 5 sets that are actually worth your money, from a $55 sleeper that embarrassed pickups at 4 times its price, to the one upgrade path this channel has recommended since day one. And we close with the 3 questions because they apply to pickups more than to any other product we have ever covered. Stay with me for trap number 4 especially, because it is the one the entire internet, this channel included, almost never says out loud, and it will annoy exactly the people it should annoy. And keep an ear open for winner number 1. It costs less than a restaurant dinner, and in a blind comparison on a recorded track, owners keep confusing it with a set that costs 4 times as much. A quick honest note before we start. No pickup company paid for this video, nobody sent us review units, and the links below are plain product links, no affiliate games, no markup. Every price you hear is a street price you can verify in 30 seconds. And because buying right is a method, not a list, the complete buyer's guide, every gold mine and money trap from this channel as one honest map, is linked in the description. Now let's get into it. First, the 60 seconds of honest physics. A magnetic pickup is a magnet, or several, wrapped in thousands of turns of very thin copper wire. That is the whole machine. Your steel string vibrates in the magnetic field. The field wobbles. The wobble induces a tiny electrical current in the coil, and that current is your sound. No moving parts, no software, no secret. The recipe has not fundamentally changed since the 1950s. What changes the sound? The type of magnet, the number of wire turns, how wide and tall the coil sits, and where the pickup lives under the string. Those 4 variables are real, they are measurable, and they genuinely shape your tone. Everything else you will hear in marketing copy, the vintage wire insulation, the hand-guided winding pattern, the aging process, lives in a zone where honest engineers start coughing politely. Hold that picture. Magnet, wire, position. It is the flashlight we will shine on every trap. And since we are here, 60 more seconds and you can read a pickup spec sheet like a technician, which instantly makes most marketing copy evaporate. 3 numbers matter. First, the magnet type. Alnico, an aluminum nickel cobalt alloy, gives the rounder, warmer, slightly compressed vintage response. Ceramic gives more output, more edge, more aggression, and costs less to make, which is why it lives in most stock pickups. Neither is better. They are flavors, and anyone selling ceramic as a defect or alnico as automatic magic is selling geography, not sound. Second, DC resistance printed in kilo-ohms. It is a rough proxy for how many turns of wire are on the coil. More turns means more output and thicker mids, but less sparkle. Fewer turns means clearer, brighter, more open. A P pickup around 10 to 11 kilo-ohms is standard. When you see 17, you are buying a deliberately dark sledgehammer, and you should want that on purpose. And third, the physical format. Split coil, single coil, humbucker, soap bar. Format decides hum and character more than any boutique refinement within the format. That is the entire literacy course. Magnet flavor, wire amount, format. Every legitimate maker publishes all three, and here is the useful part. When a product page hides the numbers behind adjectives, buttery, organic, three-dimensional, the specification is usually ordinary and the adjectives are doing the pricing. Trap number one, the vintage correct tax. The pitch goes like this. Our pickups are wound to exact 1962 specifications with period-correct cloth-covered wire, hand-fitted fiber bobbins, and magnets aged to sound like the classic records. And the price for this historical accuracy is $200, $300, sometimes $400 a set. Here is the honest physics. The reason those old records sound like that is mostly the strings of the era, flat wounds, the recording chain, tape compression, and the fingers of the person playing. The pickup contributed, but a modern pickup with the same magnet type and similar winding measurements gets you into the same room for a fraction of the money. What the vintage tax actually buys is a story, the feeling of historical connection. Stories are legitimate products. Humans love stories, but you deserve to know when you are buying one, because your audience cannot hear the year printed on the spec sheet. The honest question that diffuses this trap: would I still pay this price if the box said nothing about the 1960s? Trap number two, the hand wound mystique. Hand wound, scatter wound, hand-guided, wound by the founder personally in small batches. The implication is always the same. A human hand makes a better coil than a machine. Here is what winding actually is: laying thin wire onto a spinning bobbin some 10,000 times. A modern winding machine does this with tolerances a human cannot match, which is why every pickup and every legendary instrument of the 50s and 60s was wound on the machines of their day, run by factory workers on hourly wages, as fast as the machine allowed. The slight scatter of a hand-guided wind does measurably change the coil's capacitance a little, and in a lab you can see it. Whether you can hear it in a band mix, through an amp, in a room, is a question that blind tests answer with an embarrassed silence. You are not paying for a better coil. You are paying for the image of a craftsman at a bench, and that image adds exactly 0 decibels to your Friday night gig. The honest question: am I buying a coil or a craftsman's biography? Trap number three, the no demo gamble. This one comes straight from the forums and it deserves to be shouted. There are boutique pickup sets on sale right now for $120, $140 from makers who publish no sound demos at all. No recorded clips, no comparison tracks, nothing. The buyer is expected to spend 3 figures on the promise of a text description, warm yet articulate, vintage but modern, and find out at home. Bass players on Talk Bass have been complaining about this for years, and they are right. A pickup is a sound product. Selling a sound product without sound is like selling perfume by paragraph. Some of these no-demo pickups are, to be fair, excellent. But excellent products can be demonstrated, and a maker who will not let you hear their work before paying has decided that your curiosity is their marketing department. The honest rule, not even a question this time: no demo, no deal. If a $55 budget brand can publish recorded comparisons, a $140 boutique shop can too. Trap number 4, the uncomfortable one, the upgrade first reflex, and this trap is not sold by any company, it is sold by us, the internet. Somewhere along the way, the base forums decided that stock pickups are automatically bad, that upgrading pickups is simply what serious players do, a rite of passage, like your first setup or your first callus, and so thousands of players swap perfectly good pickups out of instruments they have owned for 3 months before changing their dead strings, before adjusting their pickup height, before spending 1 honest hour with their amp's EQ. Here is what the veterans know. Pickup height, the free adjustment with the screwdriver you already own, changes your output and tone more than most $100 pickup swaps. Fresh strings change more than that. And the EQ on your amp is a sound design laboratory that most players have never systematically explored. The stock pickups in almost every bass we have recommended on this channel, the Sires, the Yamahas, the Ibanez basses, the Squier Classic Vibes, are competent, balanced designs that their manufacturers spent real engineering money on, because pickups are cheap to make well at scale. Are aftermarket pickups better? Often, somewhat. Are they the first, second, or third thing you should change? Almost never. The honest question, and you know it by now: have I done the cheap things first? And trap number 5, The active conversion fantasy. This one connects directly to our preamp video. A player hears an active bass in a demo, loves the tight modern sound, and decides to convert their passive bass. New active pickups, an onboard preamp, a battery box routed into the body, easily $250 in parts plus installation. What arrives is complexity. Batteries, more knobs, more failure points, and a modification that permanently alters the instrument and quietly hurts its resale value. If you have watched this channel for more than one video, you know the alternative. An outboard preamp pedal on your board, or even just the EQ you already own, delivers 90% of that sound with zero surgery, zero batteries in your bass, and zero regret when you sell. Converting a passive bass to active is real engineering fun for tinkerers who enjoy the project itself. As a purchase for better sound per dollar, it is the worst ratio in this entire video. The honest question, do I want this sound or this surgery? Two quick myths before the test, because the comment section will raise them anyway. Myth 1, old pickups sound better because the magnets age. Magnets do weaken over decades, slightly, and the effect on sound is real but tiny, a gentle softening at most. The reason a 50-year-old pickup sounds glorious in a 50-year-old bass is the whole instrument, the player, and survivorship. The bad old basses got thrown away. You cannot buy aging as a feature, and vendors who artificially degauss magnets to fake it are selling you a slightly broken new pickup at a vintage price. Myth 2, higher output means better. Higher output means louder into your amp, which in a shop comparison always sounds better, louder always does. It is the oldest trick in retail. Turn the quieter pickup up 2 decibels and the magic evens out. Judge pickups at match volume, or do not judge them at all. Now, before the winners, the test I promised. The 30-second pickup test. Tonight, plug in, set your amp flat, and record 20 seconds of your bass on your phone, any riff you like. Then raise or lower your pickups a millimeter or two with a screwdriver, closer to the strings for more output and aggression, further for more clarity and even response, and record the same riff again. Listen to both recordings tomorrow morning, fresh ears. If those 2 recordings sound meaningfully different to you, and they will, then you have just experienced for free what most pickup swaps actually deliver. New pickups make sense when you have a specific nameable problem, hum you can hear, a genuinely dark or harsh character that height and EQ cannot move, or a sound goal in a completely different category from your current design, single coil to humbucker, passive to noiseless. If you cannot name the problem in one sentence, the drawer is waiting for your money. That is the test. Most of you just kept $200. And now the 5 that are worth it, with names and street prices, because a channel that only warns is only half honest. One note on how this list was built. Every set on it has published sound demos, sits at a price its own specifications can justify, and has years of owner reports behind it, not launch week reviews. That filter alone removed half the famous names in the catalog. Number 1, the sleeper, the Tonerider Classic P, around $55. A British-designed alnico 5 split coil, wound in the same East Asian factories that build most of the industry, sold with honest demos, and a price that embarrasses the boutique world. Owners on the forums keep comparing it, unprompted, to sets costing 4 times as much, including revered boutique P pickups, and keep reporting that in a mix they stop being able to justify the difference. If your P bass needs a pickup and your budget is real, this is the first name on the list. Number 2, the standard, the Seymour Duncan quarter pound, around $99. The 1/4-inch pole pieces read the string over a wider magnetic window, giving you that huge, full, slightly overdriven feeling rock sound that has lived on countless records. It is not subtle, it is not vintage correct, and it is not trying to be. It is the default answer to the question, my P bass needs to cut through a loud rock band. Number 3, the modern classic, the DiMarzio Model J, around $130 a set. Jazz bass single coils hum, that is their nature. The Model J is a humbucker in a jazz coil's clothing, punchy, thick, dead quiet, and famously durable. A design that has been solving the same problem since the 70s without a price explosion. If your jazz bass buzzes under stage lights and it drives you crazy, this is the cure with the longest track record. Number 4, the modern active option done right. The EMG Geezer Butler signature set, around $120. Yes, a signature product in a video that warned about signature pricing, and that is exactly the point. This one is priced like the standard sets around it, not above them, and it solves a real problem elegantly. It is a passive voice pickup with EMG's solderless install system, meaning you can fit it with a screwdriver in half an hour, no soldering iron, no technician, and get a vintage aggressive Sabbath-approved sound with modern quiet. Signature is not the trap. Signature markup is, and this set proves a name can ride along without inflating the invoice. And number 5, the Channel Classic, the used market. Pickups are the most durable component in this entire hobby. They have no moving parts, they do not wear out, and a 40-year-old pickup works like a 4-day-old one. Every trap we described today, the vintage tax, the hand wound premium, the abandoned upgrade experiments, produces a steady stream of barely used, half-price pickups on the used market, photographed in the very drawers we talked about. The same quarter pound that costs $99 new is on the used market perpetually for $50 to $60. Buying used pickups is the closest thing to a cheat code this market has, because the only thing that ages on a pickup is the story, and you are not paying for the story anyway. And because two of these winners fight over the same P bass, the honest head-to-head, quarter pound versus Geezer Butler. The quarter pound is the bigger, wider, more aggressive voice, at home where the band is loud and subtlety is a rumor. It wants a soldering iron or a technician for the install. The Geezer set is the more traditional, articulate voice with the hum professionally removed, and its solderless system means the install is a screwdriver job on your kitchen table. Loud modern rock and an available soldering iron, quarter pound. Classic rock tones, first ever install, no solder experience, Geezer. Both are correct answers to different sentences, which is exactly what honest products look like. Before we wrap up, the 3 questions, pickup edition. Question 1, can you hear the problem? Not read about it, not suspect it, hear it in a recording you made this week. If yes, name it in 1 sentence and let the name guide the purchase. Hum has a noiseless answer. Darkness has a brighter answer. Weak output has a height adjustment first and a hotter pickup second. Question 2, real fault or sold feeling? The upgrade first reflex is a feeling. The vintage tax is a feeling. A jazz bass buzzing under stage lights is a fault. You know the difference now. And question 3, have you done the cheap things first? Pickup height, fresh strings, an hour with your EQ. If the answer is no, the answer to new pickups is also no, not yet. So here is the honest verdict. The pickup market takes more money for less audible difference than almost any corner of the bass world, because it sells the most seductive story in music, that the sound in your head is one purchase away. The truth is less romantic and much cheaper. A pickup is a magnet and wire. The 4 variables that matter are printed on spec sheets. The differences that remain are smaller than a millimeter of height adjustment. And the best sets in the world cost between $50 and $130, because that is what magnets and wire honestly cost. Buy for a problem you can name, from a maker who lets you listen first, at a price the physics can justify, and the drawer in your house stays empty. That is the whole method, and it works for everything with a price tag on it. Tell me in the comments, what is in your pickup drawer? The set you swapped out, the upgrade that actually mattered, or the one that taught you an expensive lesson? And be honest, because your stories are worth more to the next buyer than every marketing paragraph ever written. If you have a pickup set you think deserves the goldmine title, name it with the price, and I will look at the most named ones for a follow-up. Everything is linked in the description, including the buyer's guide with the complete map of gold mines and money traps. Subscribe for honest, no-hype truth about bass gear, and I would be genuinely glad to have you along for the ride.